All right, we're live. Good morning, everybody. This is Rob. We're in Conroe, Texas, getting ready to go out on Lake Conroe. I'm going to try doing some trolling today, hopefully using the trolling motor. Then maybe if the wind picks up, I'll use the big motor. And then when we get downwind, I can pull the jib sail up, and we will we'll be able to sail troll. So it's just a beautiful day. I checked the weather, because last time I went out, I got in 30 plus mile an hour winds, more or less scared the crap out of me. But anyway, I did check the weather, and I don't remember what the temperature is going to be, but the wind is going to be fine. So I got 2 ropes off already. We're going to put our rudder down. And then steering clutch is off, motor's hooked up. Now we'll go up here and we'll drop the dagger board. I don't drop it all the way, but a good portion of the way. And then we'll go up here and fix the line that's laying on the sheet. I don't know how that camera is. If anybody's in chat, let me know if that camera angle's good. Okay. Then we'll turn on the trolling motor. Getting my socks all wet. I like these socks. They have grippers on the bottom. Okay, now, next, we'll unhook the power. This head camera's got a little pop-up window, and I was really hoping that I could swivel it around, turn the camera like upside down. Maybe I'll still try that. But anyway, so that the window would be down here and I could just look up and I could see how my camera angle is. If anybody knows how to do that, let me know. Okay, so there the power's off. Now, I'm going to loosen this line a little bit so that it makes it easier to pick up with the pole when we come back in. That's kind of weird. Okay, there we go. Hope that camera angle's good. Okay, now we'll loosen this up a little bit. Get that out of the way. Okay. Oops. Guess what? No keys in the ignition. But they're not far away. Everything's got a place. Now I can never get this key in when my head is upside down. Mostly because I don't remember which way it even goes. There we go. Okay, motor's warming up. Now I'm too far away. Okay, just pull this in a little bit. Okay, set that right there. Are you ready, checkers? Jeez. I don't know about that camera angle. Okay. Watch out for any hooks. Put that right. So, god dang it. Keep banging this camera. I gotta get used to my head being 4 inches longer. Ooh, the wind just came up a little bit. Okay. We be ready. Oh shit, I didn't even have the right camera on anyway. Plus my menu came up. So there's 2 stream fails already this morning. Oh my gosh. I promise that, guys, I'm gonna get better. I promise. All right, so this is the Water Point Marina. Those are some pretty slick apartments up there. Each one of them's got a porch that's probably larger than my living room and dining room combined. Pretty cool. I met one of the guys this morning. He was out flying a drone, and I should have asked him how much it cost to stay there. I don't want to stay there, but I just think they're pretty cool. I bet they're very expensive. Okay, we're in 8.9 inches of water right now. I should have ran through the scenes for you. Right now we're on the head cam, which just quit, by the way. So there's stream fail number 3. So I don't know. I got all the settings right on this camera. But it still keeps shutting off. Okay. That's my Garmin light. Jesus Christ. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That'd be stream number 4, fail number 4 already. Oh, what a shit show. Wow. All right, let's try that for a while. That's a Sony 3000X camera, kind of an old one. Let's deploy the trolling motor. That worked. Now let's bring it down, trim it down. Leave it up a little bit, it's not too wavy today. And then I'm going to get the prop going slow, about 2. Yeah, 2. And then we'll start setting up our trolling. Got checkers here. Wow, there's a huge school of bait fish under me right now. Got some hot dog and bacon on this one. See if we can get a catfish. And I actually have 2 hooks on. I don't know if that's smart or dumb. Okay, that scene is messed up. What the fuck? Oh, I see what's wrong. There we go. Okay. Drifting. I'm up to 3. We're not moving very fast. It's almost like it's not going. So I shut the feature off that has that repeat. Optimal edge. Well, pretty good, Optimal. How are you doing? So I'm getting ready to fish. I'm on Lake Conroe in Texas. So that's my head cam and my face cam here that you're looking at. And then I got a... Yep. There you can see my boat now. And I'm right next to a marina, and I'm just putting my line out right now, see if we can catch a catfish. And I got my trolling motor up in front, and we're going about 0.7 miles an hour. Thanks, man. If you see anything, I'm just learning how to do this, so if you see things that don't look right or I should change, let me know. So I just clipped my... This is called a downrigger here, and what it allows me to do, I'll show you. Okay, I'm going to go to a different scene. This is going to be my underwater. There. Okay, that's my underwater view, and if I've got this adjusted right, you should be able to see that I've got a weighted ball here that's going to drop my line down into the water. And you should be able to see it on the screen here soon. But I might have to turn my camera, my LiveScope. I don't see it yet. Maybe I gotta go down a little bit lower. Okay. There it is. Okay, so, no, that's not it either. Why can't I see my ball? It's weird. Normally I can see it. There, that might be it right there. Okay. Let's see, what depth am I down? I'm down about 6 feet. So in the line at 6, going across the screen, we should be able to see my ball. There it is. That might be it right there. Yep, that's it. Let's see if we can see it go down now. Yep, there we go. Okay, you can see it dropping. I'm going down to 6 feet. We're in 14 feet of water, so I'm going to go down to about 8 feet. Look at all the bait fish. Okay. Oh, okay, sorry about that. Thank you. Yep, thank you very much. I lost my, come on. Okay, so I lost what I had where I was showing you. So we'll go back to this for now. Come on. There we go. Okay. Okay, so that pole is out. We'll see how we can do. Okay, so I got my underwater LiveScope on an iPad here, and I'm gonna have to reboot it. For some reason, I have to do that every time. Yeah. Thanks. But I have a lot of bugs. I've got a lot of stuff going on here, and I'm having bugs this morning. Like one of my other cameras dropped out. So I've lost two scenes so far. Okay. Once I get this iPad back up, I'll be able to show you what it looks like underwater. Sorry about all the trouble. Where are you from, Optimal? Oh, okay. I'm just north of Houston. There we go. Okay, so I got my underwater scene back. How's that? Is that better? So if you can see that bright line that's going straight down, if you look at the numbers across the top, there's a 4 and a 6. So that big ball down there is my weight. It's a 5-pound weight that keeps my lure down at the level of the water that I want it at. And right now I want it at 8 feet. So if I catch a fish, you might be able to see me reel it in. And I'm practicing with all this stuff. It's going to take me a little while to get it all working properly. That's called LiveScope. And here comes a whole big ball of bait fish. They're right below my hook, not my hook, but my weight. So my hook, you can't see the hook, but it's back probably around 16 feet to the right. There's a big fish swimming away up there, and there's a big ball of bait fish, like a bunch of little minnows and stuff. I caught a nice big catfish here the other day. So I got my trolling motor up in front. I don't think you can see it. Let's go to the overhead shot. There. So you can see my solar panels and my sails. The trolling motor way up in front, I wonder if you can see that. It's off to the left of the front of the boat and it's white. So that's what's moving us right now at about 6.63 miles an hour. I have my dog here too, Checkers. Okay. No big deal. I wasn't thinking anybody'd be able to see my trolling motor anyway. So we're in Lake Conroe here, and this lake's about 21 miles long. It's a big lake. It's a backwater, and I'm going to be trolling for fish, and I'm heading east right now, and I'm headed towards the dam that creates this backwater. And then once I get there, when we're getting closer to the afternoon, the wind will start picking up more. It's usually calm in the morning and you get wind in the afternoon. And then what I'll do is I'll turn the boat. The wind is supposed to be out of the south today. So I'll turn the boat and start heading north, and then I'll put one of the sails out and I'll shut the trolling motor off. And then we'll troll using the sail. There's a big fish up at about 4 foot from the surface. So I usually go along this floating dock here because there'll be fish underneath it a lot of times. And then I turn out. Now I'm going to turn out towards the center of the channel because if I go straight, I'm probably going to get a snag. So on this head cam here, how does that look? Is the light okay? Is the zoom okay? The one that's on my face. Okay, let me zoom it out. Okay, now it's zoomed out all the way right now. Too narrow? There's a lot of boats on this lake. I used Grok AI to... Okay, cool. All right, thank you. Hey, can you hear the chat? Can you hear, after you've spoke, can you hear chat back? Can you hear the voice chat? That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. I think I know how to fix that. So next time I go down below deck, I have a PC down below, then that's what's running the chat. So I have voice chat and I can hear it in my ear. Okay, so the line still looks good. We don't have a bite. I don't know if you can see this orange line. It's going... So the line, I don't know if you can see my orange fishing line. I got kind of heavy line and I bought orange so I could see it better. But it's going almost straight down here, and that's the line that goes down to the ball that you see on the screen when you look at the underwater shot. And then the fishing line goes back that way. And so if it's going almost straight down, that means I don't have a fish. Okay. So I don't know if you saw me hook that little tether onto the line when I first put it out. So what that tether does is it holds the line down at that ball. So my fishing line is actually going straight down and then straight back. And if you catch a fish, when the fish pulls on the line, it pulls the line out of that tether, and then the line goes back that way. So whenever the line goes straight back, or not straight back, but at a much lower angle back, that's when I know I got a fish, because it's pulled it out of the tether. Oh, are you on Kick? I just noticed that. So I'm streaming on Kick, YouTube, and Twitch right now. Do you do gaming on Kick at all, or you stream on Kick? Everybody looks at my boat because it's so odd. It's a sailboat with a 60-horse outboard motor on it and a trolling motor on the front and fishing poles all over the place. So it's different. It's odd. It's weird. So I'm steering. I can steer with the trolling motor. And right now I have it pointed so it's just a little bit left of straight ahead because I'm trying to pull me out into the center of the channel here. But I also have rudders back here that I use when I'm sailing, but I also use them when I'm running the trolling motor because it allows me to steer the boat, and I don't have to turn that trolling motor. I can put it straight ahead, and most of the time I can steer the boat with the steering wheel. In fact, I'm going to drop this other rudder. Sometimes I don't drop this one because I've gotten my fishing line tangled up in it a couple times, or one time. Here comes a water plane. What do you call it? Seaplane. It's coming down in front of me here. It's going to land. Looks like it's going. See, we're on a finger of the lake here, and the long part of the lake starts over to my right a little bit. That's where the plane is coming down. And the long part of the lake goes north and south. So the long part of the lake goes way over to my left. Okay, so let's check. I'm going to show you something now. Okay, so now we have an underwater shot again, and you can see my ball. My 5-pound weight is at 8 feet right now, and in fact it's 6 feet behind the boat and it's 8 feet down. Well, let me finish putting my dog's life jacket on. He doesn't like me putting this on if he's laying down. If I have to put my hand under his belly, there goes the plane. I don't know if you can see that. That's cool. That's a different. It's like an open air plane. It's got two props pointed backwards. That's pretty cool. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is drop this. We're in deeper water now, so I'm going to drop this down more. So we're at 8 feet now. Now you can see it going down. And now we're at 10 feet, and I'm going to go down to 12 feet. Right about there. Now I'm going to turn my LiveScope a little bit, see if we can get a little bit better picture. There. So you can see the ball. It's 6 feet behind the boat and 12 feet down. That's the weight, the 5-pound weight. Okay, here comes the plane. He's going to land right next to me here. Can you see it okay? There he goes. So that's pretty cool. He's got a scarf around his neck that goes back. Like, could you see it okay? That's pretty slick. So this is called Lake Conroe, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you can see the houses on the shoreline, but if you don't have $1 million, you're probably not even going to buy a lot here. There's a huge amount of people from Houston with a lot of money that live on this lake. And I'm here paying $300 a month Oh, cool. Cool. Okay, so I have down below deck here, I have an iRacing setup, and so at night I'll do iRacing sometimes. I used to race a lot. No, I pay $300 a month to park my boat at the Marina, so I get water and power and a place to dock my boat for $300 a month. And I stay here quite a bit. I stay overnight quite a bit, like probably 3 to 4 days a week. My point is that some of these, well, not all the houses are millions, but I'd say 50% of them are multi-million-dollar homes on this lake that they're paying an enormous amount of money. Some of them maybe have a lot of money, but some of them are probably working their asses off to be able to have a house on this lake. And I can do it for $300 a month. So the plane is up here in front of me, and he's just kind of floating around. Not sure what he's doing. Okay, I'm gonna put this other scene on, and oh, what happened? Oh, there we go. Okay. And what I'm gonna do is start dropping this other trolling rig line in. So I got this brand new reel, and it has a counter on it. So I'm gonna bring it down to the water level. Let's just go there. Oop, it went into the water. That's okay. And then I'm going to zero the counter. So now I can't see this one on my scope, so I can't tell how close to the bottom I am. So I'll just use this counter to figure out what my depth is. That's too tight. So, but the counter's not working. It's brand new. I just got this yesterday. Oh, it's working. What does it say? Okay, so I'm 3 feet down now. 4 feet. Oh. How'd you like working for Tesla? That's pretty much the way it is at almost every job, but maybe that was worse, I don't know. I never worked there. I worked 40 years for one company. And then I quit, retired, well, I quit. And then I went to work for another company for 10 years. So now we're in 25 feet of water, and my hook is down at 12, so I'm going to go down another 2 or 3 feet. So let's go back to this view here, and you see me drop my hook. I'm going to go down to 15 feet now. Oh, there's a big fish right by my hook. Right by my ball, right there. Okay. Okay. What a beautiful day. Big ball of bait fish there. Is it ever peaceful out here? Now, I think I started telling you about how many boats on this lake, but didn't finish. So I had Grok do a deep search and for how many boats are on this lake, and I think it came up with 4,000. And that doesn't count all the boats that come in on trailers every day. And there's boat landings around here, and they'll be basically no room to park even. There's so many boats using the boat landing, and they're usually waiting in line to get in and out. But anyway, so I bet you could add to that 4,000. You could add, I mean, a minimum of 200, maybe even another 1,000. Maybe there's 5,000 boats here on a weekend. Not all in the water, of course, but the potential for 5,000. And then I always kind of get a kick out of, it's fairly early in the morning, so in the afternoon there's a lot more boats out. But at just about any given time, if I just count the boats, there's always roughly 10 to 20. I think my record is 21. So let's count them right now. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess if you count me, it's 10. No, there's another one, 10. With me, it's 11. That's pretty normal. I mean, I'm not looking at a super big area. In fact, there's another one I missed, so we're at 12. So this line looks good, no fish on it. This line looks good, no fish on it. So I'm not sure if you're still there, Optimus, but oh shoot, messed that up. There we go. So I have this boat set up to do what's called a great loop. If you're on your well, I'll bet that's Yeah, I'll bet that was high pressure place to work. So I've got this boat set up. I've been working on it for over a year, and I've got it set up for what's called the Great Loop. And that's really what I'm doing today. I'm like practicing a day on the Great Loop, where I get up in the morning, I get my stuff ready to go, I get the stream going, and then I depart. And if you Google the Great Loop, it's a 6,500 mile trip. And the closest place to me where I can start what they call the loop is Mobile, Alabama. So I've either got to trailer my boat over there to start, or I can go take my boat out of the water here from Lake Conroe and put it in down at Kemah by Galveston. And then I can take the intercoastal waterway from Houston or Galveston to Mobile, and then I'm intersected with the Great Loop. And then from there, I go down to Florida, and then I go across Florida on Lake Okeechobee and some canals. And then I get to the intercoastal waterway that goes up the East Coast all the way to New York and the Hudson River. So then, and there's a few canals, and there's a swamp, dismal swamp that you go through. Wow, there's a super frickin' fast fishing boat coming. I don't know if you can see it. Watch this. Look at that. Wow. So anyway, then I take the intercoastal waterway all the way up to the Hudson River, go through Virginia. If you click that link, it should take you to where I'm at. You should be able to see me, and you can change from map view to satellite view. Yeah, I'm planning to probably nonstop. Now I'm really set up good for signal. There's 4 cellular modems right here, and then I also have up on top, you can see my Starlink, and then I have a device here called a Live View, and that Live View combines the signal. It takes my 7,000 kilobyte per second signal that I'm sending out, but it distributes it across all 5 of the feeds. So it goes on 2 Verizon modems, 1 AT&T modem, and 1 T-Mobile modem, plus the satellite dish. So even when I'm in areas where there's very low cellular or even low satellite signal, I'm probably going to be able to. Lots of people, they're on this Great Loop. There's a lot of areas where there's no signal, but I should have signal most of the time, so I should be able to stream most of the time. So I'll be traveling probably 4 days a week, and I'll be going probably 20 to 50 miles a day. So I'll be driving and streaming 4 to 8 hours a day, and then it'll take a year to do this. And then after I get to the Hudson River, I go up into Canada, up to the St. Lawrence Seaway, and I can't see my ball. There it is. I go up to the St. Lawrence Seaway, and then I take something called the Trent Severn Waterway, which takes me up north of Lake Ontario, north of Toronto, and go through pretty much the wilderness of Canada. Not the most wilderness area, but it'll be lots of trees, lots of wildlife. There's boats on it all the time. It's kind of like this, it's like a tourist area, but it's a long, probably about a 500-mile waterway that has rivers and canals and locks and dams, and so then I come out on the north side of Lake Huron, and then take Lake Huron over to Lake Michigan, and then go down Lake Michigan. And so about, then I get to Chicago, and then I'll go right through downtown Chicago on the river. And then from Chicago, I take the rivers all the way down to Mobile, Alabama. There's a couple of man-made waterways too, like the 10-Tom waterway. And then I take the Mississippi only for a short distance because the Mississippi is just not a good place to be. There's too much commercial traffic. It's too dirty. There's not very many fuel stops. There's not very many marinas. So then I come back out down at Mobile, Alabama. So I got my brother Phil in Florida that I'll be visiting. I got my cousin near Detroit, lives close to Lake Michigan, and I'll be visiting. And then I've got my sister up by Lake Superior that I'll be stopping to visit. And then I got one of my sons in Wisconsin. I'll stop in Green Bay and visit him. And then when I go down through Chicago, there's a portion of this trip from Chicago to Mobile, Alabama, where I'll be on the Ohio River. Not a real long portion, but some distance on the Ohio River. But my brother lives in southern Indiana, probably about 20 miles away from the Ohio River. So I'm going to go to a marina there and park the boat, and then he's going to pick me up, and that'll be in October. And then we used to both race motocross. And one of the big pro AMA motocross races, in fact, there's two of them. One is a U.S. pro AMA race, about 30 miles from his house. And then there's another one where they come from all over the world to race, 35 countries. And so we're going to go to one of those two races. And I'll be getting there by boat. It's kind of, except for him picking me up in his car, but it'd be pretty cool. So my little Checkers Cocker Spaniel, he's he seems to really like it out here. Well, I don't know about that. When he's home, he's playing with his Great Dane. My daughter's got a Great Dane, and he plays with him a lot. So he probably enjoys that more, but he's okay on the boat. He's okay if he's out of the sun. So this is a huge fishing lake. It's a really good bass lake. They have some of the, what do they call it, the professional bass tournaments. What is it called? I don't know. There's a name for the series, but I don't remember what it is. But they have mine. Yeah, if you're talking about my boat, yeah, my boat is not perfect for fishing. It's not even perfect for sailing, and then I got a 60-horse Mercury on the back, so it's a motorboat. Oh, the other one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but so they have these really high-speed bass boats, and I don't know how fast they go, but it's got to be 50, 60 miles an hour, which is fast on a boat, of course. So let's see, I'm at 15 feet of water and we're at 30 foot of depth. So I'm going to lower my hook again. Just going to lower it about 5 feet. I'm going to lower it to 20 feet. Oop, you can't, I don't have the right scene on. There. So my little ball is 6 feet behind the boat and it's at about 17 feet right now. So I'm just going to drop it down, and you can see a lot of fish down there. There's a lot of fish at 25 feet. I'm going to drop it to 20. Now I'm going to put something else on the screen. Go to Active Captain. I'm going to close that, and I'm going to go back. Let's see. I'm going to go to Chart. Okay. There's the lake. Let's see. I thought maybe we'd be able to see me on there. Well, I catch catfish every time I go out. Just about every time I go out, I'll catch one catfish. No, the noise isn't a problem, I don't think. The fish in this lake that is the most plentiful probably, and maybe even the easiest to catch, is a striped bass. It's a hybrid bass. It's half striped bass and half white bass, and they grow fast. They eat. They're ferocious eaters. They fight hard when you catch them, and that's what a lot of people fish for on this lake. And I'm learning how to do it. I'm watching YouTube, and I don't have the right. I got to have live bait. In other words, minnows, which I don't have right now. I bought a net so I can start catching my own minnows. And then, there we go. I don't know. So, okay. So this chart gives me the depths of the lake here. Okay, we are, oh, here we are. There's me right there. That's where I'm at on the lake. And this chart says, can't see the depth. But if I was going to catch those hybrid bass, I don't know if you can see it, but over by the shore here where the lines get really close together, that means it's like a hill. It's going downhill. The depth is changing rapidly, and they call it a ledge. And I would have to be over on that ledge close to the shoreline and to catch them. And most people don't troll like I'm doing right now. Most people fish with lures or most with live bait. So I'm learning how to do that, and once I get good at that, I should be no problem coming out and getting 1, 2, 3, maybe even up to 5 fish a day, big ones. But I'm just not too good at it yet. There we go. So, no fish yet. No fish on either pole, but that's okay. I'm enjoying the day. I am practicing for my big trip. Wow, there's a whole big school of fish down by my bait. Now on this other pole, because we're in much deeper water, I'm going to let out more line. On this line, I've actually got 5 hooks and a piece of hot dog. This is a brand new pole, or reel. There we go. So we'll get that down a little bit deeper. I'm not sure what that means. Let's see. Where? Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out how to get my split screen up here. I think I gotta go to settings and then multitasking. Okay, so I got that. Now, okay. Not watching where I'm going. Let's go here. There we go. There we go. I gotta go full screen, and then I need to go here first, then go to split, and then go here, and then I gotta slide that over. Okay, so now I can read chat. Freaking unbelievable how far off course I'm going when I'm looking at this iPad. Okay. I'm like a mile off course. No, not that far, but pretty far. Okay. So the wind shifted. Now it's coming out of the east. If you could see my flags, it's coming from my port side, forward a little on the port side. So right now it's coming out of just about a little bit northeast. This morning it said it was going to be coming out of the south. So I'm going to change my course now, and I'm going to start heading into the wind. And then when I get to the other side of the lake over there, I'll be able to turn around and then sail back home, back to the marina, downwind. So I'm going just about straight into the wind right now. So we're finally exiting the finger of lake that my marina's on, and we're just now getting into the main body of the lake. Last Sunday, I was out here, and the wind was coming out of the south, so I was headed over to the corner of the lake to my right, where the dam is, and then I was going to sail downwind down the long part of the lake. And I got over there, and I didn't check the weather before I went out. But even if I would have, I still would have went out because it said gusts up to 30 and normal wind of about 10 knots. And that's usually when you have 10 knot winds, the gusts might be 20 miles an hour or 10 knots or 20 knots, sorry. But this particular day it said 30, and I probably would have went out anyway, even though it said that. And it didn't forecast rain, but I get over here and the wind's coming out of the south. I turn my boat north. I'm getting ready to put the sail up, and all of a sudden I look at my flags, which is what those are there for, and all of a sudden the wind shifted completely 180 degrees, and it was coming out of the north, and I go, what? So I couldn't sail then. I can't sail upwind. And I thought, what the heck is going on? Well, then I look in the distance, way on the other end of the lake, and there's a rain cloud, or you could see it's raining. And so then I thought, oh, well, I can't sail. I might as well just turn the boat and start heading back towards the marina, because it's going to rain anyway. And then because I'm headed west when I'm going back to the marina, and the storm is coming out of the north, I thought, well, I might miss the rain, by heading back to the marina. Well, I started turning the boat west, and within a minute, the wind hit me like I've just never seen before. Now, winds get a lot higher than what I was in, but I'm just not used to it. So I got blasted with wind, and so then I started speeding up, heading back, and then within another couple minutes, it started pouring out, and the wind had the boat listed at about 20 degrees, which is a lot, and I didn't even have the sails out, and it was just the wind hitting the side of my boat and the mast and everything, and the sail bag and the bimini and and then this thing here. And I was way over on the side of the gunnel, way over here, hanging on up here, because the boat was listed over so far. And so I'm heading back for the marina. I couldn't even dock for a while because I didn't want to dock in that high a wind. So that's the highest wind I was in. The weather said it was 30 mile an hour wind. To me, it seemed maybe more than that, maybe like 35 or something like that. So that's the worst storm I've been in. but it's probably not the worst storm I'm going to be in. When I travel for my 1-year trip, I'm going to be really picky on when I travel and when I don't. Like, because I'm in my element here, and my place for docking at the Marina is really nicely wind protected, and I'm accustomed to it. I don't mind coming out when there's some fairly high winds. But when I'm traveling and I don't know the destination, I know what it looks like on the map, but I've never been there before. I'm traveling through, that's one of the cool things about the trip. Every single day, almost every minute of the day, I'm going to see something new that I've never seen before. Even some of the cities I'll go through that I've been to many times, I've never seen them from the water. So, but anyway, the point is, because of that uncertainty of not knowing the water, not knowing the destination, I would never go out and travel on the trip in weather like I had last Sunday. Of course, so that's that. It's kind of hard to maneuver this 360 camera. It doesn't react when you turn it on the screen. I've got the 360 cam from above. It's Wi-Fi'd to my Apple phone. And then my Apple phone is plugged into an HDMI adapter that has 3 ports. It's got a USB, a USB-C, USB-C, and then it's also got an HDMI, because this device that I'm using for switching the scenes, that needs HDMI input, and I got 4 inputs. So I'm converting that screenshot to HDMI and going into the switcher. But then also I plug in a power cord to the USB-C port on that little adapter. So it's also charging my phone all day. And I have this whole streaming setup here, this box. I have that plugged into 110 volts, which goes down to my EcoFlow 2200 watt combination battery, solar charger, and inverter. So all these devices, even though they're plugged into 110 volts, they're working off of the 12 volt EcoFlow battery down there. And then I've got 300 watts of solar up above. So that's being charged while we go here. The solar panels can't keep up with the amount of power I'm using, because I also have my refrigerator. I have my refrigerator plugged into that inverter. So, so then also in this box, I've got an Android phone, and that's connected Wi-Fi to the camera on my head. And that's got the same setup. It's got an HDMI adapter. It's being charged by a USB-C, and it goes into this YOLO box that I use for switching. And then also I have, let's go here. So this is the Apple phone. This is one of the HDMI inputs coming from the Sony 3000 camera. And then this, I think I said that wrong. This is the Apple phone. This is the Android phone. And then this is the same setup, except it's going through an iPad. So I got an iPad connected to an HDMI adapter and a USB-C. So that whole scene right there is being charged. It's coming from the iPad, and that iPad's being charged at the same time. So also in this YOLO box is the switching device, and I can record my stream. I don't have it recording right now. Actually, though, I think I am going to turn on the record, because what I do then at night is I take this stream and I use an AI software, and I convert the stream to shorts. I'm not very good at it yet. I'm not good at any of this stuff. But I'm learning. And so we're in 31 feet of water. My hook is at 20 feet, looking good. Both poles look good. Then, on top of that, I have the batteries for the camera, the Dinghy camera Action 5 on my head. They're being charged. I got 3 batteries in this box, and they're being charged all the time. And then I've got the battery, 2 batteries. Thanks. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you checking in with me here, too. I don't have very many followers or subscribers, so it makes it so much better when at least there's somebody to talk to. So I appreciate that. So the other thing I have in this box is another device. I think I talked about that already, though. It's called the Live View, and that's the one that takes the signal, my stream signal, and distributes it, sending it out over 5 different feeds, the 4 modems and the Starlink. And that device has a battery in it, but I also have another battery that charges that device, and that battery is being charged continuous also. So this stream setup, I should be able to go all day, no problem. In fact, I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to switch to at night I sleep pretty much sleep underneath where I'm at right now, under the cockpit. In fact, I'm going to go down below deck right now. I'm going to turn the autopilot on, and then so that the autopilot here, if you can see the steering wheel turning right now, it'll keep me on this course. So the water depth has changed a little bit. It's gotten a little bit more shallow, so I'm going to bring up my ball. Okay, so I'm going to go below deck, and I'm going to do a couple things. One, I'll give you a look. It's kind of a little bit messy down here because I just have a lot of stuff. Okay, so this is my 2200 watt inverter. Right now the solar panels are charging at 150 watts and we're using 90, and it's at 96%. But one of the things I came down here for is I forgot to plug my refrigerator in this morning to this inverter. So now the refrigerator will be running. Here's my iRacing rig. Is the camera angle right? So I sit on this box here and I do iRacing at night. Back here is where I sleep. Under here, this is storage here. This is a little air conditioner. I got a Berkey filter. Up here, I have a little composting toilet. And that's Checker's, what do you call that? A little cage, crate. Because if he ever gets all muddy, I really don't want him running around on the bed and everything else with the mud. This thing right here is 2 gallons of water, and I use that for showers when I'm not at the marina, like when I'm at my trip. Now the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up, because we don't want our little Checkers falling overboard. Okay, so the autopilot's keeping up pretty good. Now, these are my Malabar spinach plants. I got 3 of these pots on the boat. And what I do is this has a little water reservoir. I have a hole in the back, so when I pour water in the top, there's always about an inch of water in the bottom, like a little reservoir. And then if I get too much water, it runs out the little hole in the back here, so I don't get overwatered. And then I stuff all my, this is like a composter also. This is how I feed the plants. It's like a little teapot. I made this. And I stuff my garden waste in there. But I also take leaves from the spinach plant that don't look good, and I stuff those in there. So that's how I feed the plants. I made this out of just some pots that I bought at a rummage sale. And I drilled about a 2-inch hole with a hole saw on the side here. And then I took my torch and I heated this up. And I cut a piece of PVC pipe. And when this was hot, when the plastic was melted, I stuffed that 2-inch PVC pipe in there. And then when it cooled off, it had a pretty good grip on that piece of PVC pipe. I think I might have put a screw in this way too, and then I put a little bit of RTV here to seal it. So I got 3 of those on the boat. The other thing that I have, this is my LiveScope. So when we're looking at this scene right here, the scope is down on the end of this PVC pipe. So I have one piece of PVC pipe inside of another. And this is what allows me to turn that scope. There, so you can see the ball is at 15 feet, and it actually is showing up a little better because I turned this a little bit. So this is angled, the scope is angled off this way so that it can pick up the ball that's over on this side of the boat. But I can also pull this up. So then I can also pull this up when I get back to the marina, and I can pull that LiveScope out of the water so that it doesn't get, like not barnacles, but scum on it, from being in the water all the time. Now this whole thing back here, this is my swim platform, and I have it supported from these winches up above, 2 inches, and so I can lower that down right onto the water. And when I'm on the trip, sometimes I can beach this boat because I can take this boat in 1 foot of water. So I can use that to get on and off the boat. So that's one of its purposes. But the other purpose is when it's down, when I'm on the trip, I have a little dinghy boat. So that during the night when I'm anchored out, I'm going to probably anchor about 5 nights a week instead of going to marinas every night because they're really expensive. But that dinghy boat is what I use to get checkers to shore or get myself to shore. And I can run that dinghy boat, I lower this down, I can pull the dinghy boat right up on top of this, and then I can raise the dinghy boat up, not all the way this high, but I can raise it up out of the water. The other thing I can do, sometimes I'm going to tow the dinghy boat. And so I put the tow ropes to the dinghy boat, 2 of them, from the far corners of this bar up on top here, and I lower that down, and I can tow the dinghy, but I can also raise it up a little bit so that when I'm towing the dinghy, you know what? I don't have the right scene on, and I'm doing all this talking and pointing, and you can't see it. What an idiot. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is the swim platform. Combination swim platform, dinghy lift, dinghy towing device, but also, so everything I do, I try to design it so I can have 2 or 3 different purposes. So this plexiglass here is what I walk on when I have that down. But the other purpose for this plexiglass is when I take that clamp off the top and I lower that plexiglass right down to here, then this is my fish cleaning station. So when I catch a fish, I've got my knife right here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still on the wrong freaking camera. I apologize, Optimus. There we go. Now, how's that? That's the camera I was supposed to be on. So here's the plexiglass. I fold it down and it rests right here. And then I take my fish and I fillet my fish and I push everything off the back. Here's my pot that I was talking about. My teapot that I was talking about. Over on this side, I have my grill, and I just spin that out, and then I stand on the dock at night to cook steaks. Too high, so lowered. How's that? Is that better? Is that better? Angle? Awesome. Thanks, Optimal. I need supervision, man. I'm so glad you're here because I got to practice all this stuff. Yep. Yeah, all that while I was talking, I didn't have the right camera on. What a goofball. Yeah, so this is my pot. Here's where I stuff the food waste, like kitchen waste, like just my, lettuce, bad lettuce, any scraps. I stuff it all in here. In fact, I have an intruder, I think. I've got some strange poop on the floor here. And some of my stuff that I put in here is out, so I might have a little mink or something, or some kind of a little animal. Hope it's not a rat. In fact, I'll bet it is a rat. I may have to not do that. There's another plane, or the same plane, landing up in front of me here. What a beautiful day. So we're going just about straight into the wind now. And which will allow me to sail back to the marina, assuming there's enough wind. Straight out that way is the biggest portion of the lake. Hey, Checkers. So Checkers likes this spot right over here. And that's what he's trying to get to, I think. There you go. It's like a comfy spot for him. So we're in 30 feet of water now. And I'm only at 15 feet with my hook. So I'm gonna lower it down a little bit. So you can see the ball at 15, and we're in a little over 30, so I'm going to go down to about 21, right there. And I'll lock that. This one, let a little more line out. Usually I've caught a fish or two by now, but that's okay. This autopilot is pretty slick. It doesn't work too good usually with the trolling motor, but the wind is low enough today that it's working. It works really good when you're sailing. My daughter's 18 years old, and she doesn't drink very much. She doesn't party much. She's a competitive, or not competitive anymore, but she's a figure skater and a coach. And she broke her leg a couple of years ago pretty bad. She ended up with a big plate and eight screws in it, and so she doesn't compete anymore. Because the jumping hurts her. So she's going to get that plate out here pretty soon, and then she's going to start skating again. She skates now. She skated in a performance here a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, the funny story is one of her friends graduated. She graduated last year, but her best friend graduated this year. And they had a couple of graduation parties that they went to. One of them was at their house, and so the girl's parents was supervising, but they allowed them to do some drinking. And I guess my daughter said she had 5 drinks, and she had to go to work this morning. She's a skating coach, so she had to go to the rink and coach this morning. And I guess she threw up like 4 or 5 times. So, she's not accustomed to drinking alcohol, so that'll probably, if she had any ideas of drinking frequently, that probably slowed it down. God dang it! There we go. So here comes a plane. I don't know if it's the same plane or not. So when I get to the other side of the lake here, that's when I turn around and start sailing back. In fact, I'm going to change I'm going to turn the autopilot off. And I'm going to change my course a little bit. I'm going to head, I'm going to go a little bit to the starboard or to the left, port of where the wind direction is. I'm headed right for a little island up here. I gotta ask some people what goes on at that island, because I see a lot of boats at it. So I'm wondering if people actually sleep there at night, or if they just go for picnics, or what do they do? Can you see it? Can you see it when you click my location? That's cool if you can do that. Ah, that's cool. That is cool. So I'm trying to set up enough stuff here so that, you know, my content has some variety to it. You know, I've got the multiple cameras, the underwater shot, and then the link. So I'm glad to see you're using it. Sentinel Island. I didn't even know the name of it. Good job. Here's our checkers. He's a good boy. So it's 10:07. Usually I got out a little bit late today. Usually I'll get out about 8. I think it was more like 8:30 today. And then I usually get back about 1. So what is that, 5 hours? There should be enough wind. If I put the jib sail out, I should be able to troll with that. Wow, I got my speed up pretty high. I think I better go down below deck and plug in the charger for my trolling motor. So to do that, we'll put the clutch on, and then we'll hit auto. And we'll go to autopilot. And then we'll come down here and we'll grab this plug, this white plug. That goes up to the batteries for the trolling motor up in the bow. And we'll plug this in. That power strip that I just plugged both the refrigerator and the trolling motor charger in is running off of the inverter. And let's check that now. So so now we're using 290 watts, and the solar panels are charging at 170 watts, and we're at 95%. And that's so the solar panels won't keep up with that battery charger for the trolling motor, but that's okay. That's a 80 foot-pounds of torque, 24 volt trolling motor up there. So it uses a fair amount of power. Okay, the hook's at 20 feet, the water's 32. That line looks good. That line looks good. So there's a lot of waves in this lake, and the reason for that is, one, there's a lot of boats. But number two reason is almost the entire lake has a breakwater wall. So everybody's yard, nobody has a sandy beach. Everybody's got a wall. So it's almost like waves in a bathtub, you know, a boat goes by, the waves go in, they hit the bulkhead wall, and then they bounce back. So this thing ends up just rolling all over the place. In fact, that's the autopilot and the trolling motor are basically working hard because of the waves. I don't think you'd see this thing. Yes. Yep. Yes, it's man-made and whoa. So my autopilot was freaking out. I got a little bit off course. You know what I did? I forgot to set the clutch. So the boat is going off course. The wheel is not turning because the clutch wasn't set. Ha ha. Another malfunction for today. Where's my trolling motor? There we go. Okay, so now I just steered the boat with my trolling motor manually. It's starting to get to be too many waves for the autopilot to steer with the trolling motor. It would do fine with the sails, but because the sails actually stabilize the boat quite a bit. Anyway, you asked if this lake was man-made. It is, and this whole shoreline to the right, to the starboard side of the boat where I'm pointing, is the dam. So this is the southern end of the lake. It's the mouth of the San Jacinto River is what feeds this lake. So it used to be just a river and a bunch of creeks, and if you look at my charts, which I was trying to show before, but they don't show up very good on the screen, it shows you where the roads used to be, the creeks used to be. There's old bridges underneath the water here. So what they did is they built the dam, and then they flooded this with the San Jacinto River. And if you remember the hurricane that hit Houston, what was it, about 5 years ago? I can't even remember the name of it now. The one where we had 55 inches of rain in like 2 days. We got a year's worth of rain. Houston gets a lot of rain anyway, but we got a year's worth of rain in 2 days. And this San Jacinto, and all that flooding, there was multiple reasons for the flooding, but the biggest part of the flooding came from the San Jacinto River. So first thing that happened was this reservoir started filling up, and they had to release the water. It was getting too high, going over those breakwaters and getting close to flooding houses here. So they had to start letting water out and into the San Jacinto River, and then the San Jacinto River goes right down into Houston. And we lived not very far from there, and lots of our friends, people that my wife and I worked with, all kinds of people, probably, I can't remember the number exactly, but we had 100 employees, and I believe maybe close to 30 families were flooded out of that 100. But it's this San Jacinto River that did all the flooding downstream in Kingwood, Texas, north of, just part of Houston. Kingwood especially got just unusually flooded big time because of the San Jacinto River. And then there's another backwater down there on this river called Lake Houston. That overflowed. It was ugly. And lots of people downstream were mad at there's a San Jacinto River Authority that controls that dam and, everything about that river, and to try to avoid flooding. And so, once these houses on this lake started getting close to flooding, they opened the dam. And so the people downstream blame it on that. Well, what are you going to do? I mean, you'd be standing here watching these houses flooding and not opening the dam. So if you open the dam, you might flood some more houses, but maybe not either. Maybe not for sure, you know. So you kind of got to go happy medium and hold back as much water as you possibly can before you let it go. So I don't know, lots of mad people, but I don't know what's right or wrong. So El Paso, there's a dirt racing track there. They race dirt modifieds. Well, the point of my story, you asked about is it man-made, and I was still going on that story basically, but my story wandered off into the hurricane flooding that was associated with this lake. When they flood an area like this, the amount of economic impact it's used to, I guess one way to look at it, yeah, you could call it hoarding water for sure. The economic impact of all the taxes from all of these expensive homes on this lake, like let's say there was no lake here at all, and there would still be a few houses, there'd be farms up in this area, there'd be farms, there'd be hunting. So, there's some negatives of doing something like putting a big lake in like this, but one of the positives is the economic impact, the amount of money brought to this area is like unbelievable. So I guess that's a plus, I don't know. But, and I guess you could say hoarding water for sure. But where this San Jacinto River goes, I guess another way to look at it is when we do have a hurricane and when we do have a lot of rain, you're basically, for a while, you're avoiding flooding because this is a massive body of water, and if it bring it up 1 foot, that's an enormous amount of water that would have went down river and flooded somebody. So for a while they're letting the water rise, they're avoiding flooding, and then if they let the water depth go up until after the storm, and then slowly let out what they can. So this whole reservoir is a flood avoidance system, unless you get a hurricane that has 55 inches of rain in 2 days. It can't work, So I think the battery went dead on my overhead camera. So I'm going to start changing that out. It's about time for that to start happening. No racing. I thought there was one there. Maybe. You could be right. It's weird. I have this camera. I can see it on my phone, but it's not showing up in the stream. There we go. So that's the 360 cam. I brought it down because it lost connection for some reason. So I went off course a little bit. It's amazing how fast that wind can turn me when I'm not watching. I got to head for Sentinel Island. You know, I can't see that island though. It's weird. I usually can. There we go. Now we're headed in the right direction. There's another plane gonna fly right over the top of me. I almost got a paramotor glider a few years back. I got this. Okay. Yep, that's that same plane. No fish yet. I do have a fish in the freezer that I caught yesterday. Or no, I didn't catch it. My neighbor gave it to me. My boat neighbor caught a catfish, and he asked me if I wanted it. I said, sure, I'll take it. So I got it in the freezer, but I didn't fillet it yet. So this afternoon or tonight, I'll lower my fillet table, and I'll fillet that fish right on the back of the boat here. So what's our speed? I slowed us down. We're at a half a mile an hour right now. The wind is picking up, so we should be able to sail back. See, there's no boats around me at all, and it's like the waves are really rocking me. It's because they're bouncing back and forth. Funny, there's no other sailboats out here. You know, I found out. What's that? That was a weird sound. I think how many feet out am I? I'm only 10 feet out, so that's okay. There was a weird sound that came off of this fishing pole just now, almost, and I have a weight on it, a lead weight, and it was almost a sound like the lead weight hitting a rock. But I can't imagine that would vibrate all the way up the string. So the battery did not go dead on my 360 camera. I brought it down because I thought it was dying. It is going to die soon, though. Okay, there we go. Lots of tubing and wakeboarding on this lake. This head strap for the camera has a plastic thing that's right on my forehead. I got to put a little bit of padding on that. Let's see how the LiveScope is doing. So we're at 20, our hook. Our hook's at 20 feet and the water's 30 feet. Not many fish around here. I'm not seeing any in the scope. So my next adventure for fishing is I bought one of these, an 8-foot net, and it's got weights, it's a circle, and it's got weights all the way around the outside, and then in the center it's got a rope. And maybe you've seen on YouTube or something these people who catch bait fish, minnows and stuff with these, and there's a technique to throw them. And what you want to do is when you throw it, you want it to fan out and hit the water like a great big circle, and then those weights go down, and they get fish in the net, and then you pull it up, and whatever's down there, and what you're going for is bait fish. You can pull them up, and then you have some fish to use for bait. But I ordered it, and it came in yesterday morning. I was home, or actually the night before it came in. Thursday night it came in, and I didn't even think of practicing. I knew they're kind of hard to throw them properly, so I should have thought of going out and practicing on the grass, but I didn't think of it. So then I came here last night about 7, and I took the net out of the container for the first time, and I started trying to throw it in the water, and holy shit, not even close. I wasn't even close to getting it right. The technique is you have to kind of wrap it up on your left hand, and then you have to take a portion of it and you put it in your mouth, and then you grab another portion of it, and then you do a rotate. You rotate your body like throwing a shot put or something, and you let it go out of your mouth. You let it go out of your right hand first, I think, and then your left hand second, and it fans out and lands in the water like a big flat circle. I wasn't even getting close to right. So my boat neighbor, the guy that gave me the catfish last night, he's good at it, so he's going to teach me how to do it, hopefully tonight. Now, so my purpose for telling that story is because as soon as I can get some bait fish, then I can start fishing for these striped bass properly. And then I'll probably stop trolling for a while, and I'll start fishing by those ledges that I talked about earlier. And the ledges are like, there's a point right here to my left, and there's another point over there. There's a lot of little peninsulas on this lake, and at the ends of those points, there's almost always a place where the water gets deep rapidly, and that's a ledge. And that's where you go to find these striped bass hybrids. So that's also a better place to be trolling. So trolling out here in the middle of the lake, I catch stuff, but I don't catch too much. And I'm really trying to get it all honed and practice so that when I'm on my trip, I'm good at setting up to troll, doing some trolling, because I'll be traveling all day long, almost every day. And there'll be some days, like if I'm only going to go 20 miles, well then I can put the trolling motor down or use the motor, the big motor, and like in the morning when the fishing's good, I'll troll for a while. I'll go slow and I'll troll. Then if I catch something, fine. If I don't, either way, I'll maybe do that for a half hour or an hour, and then pull up the lines and go back up to my normal cruising speed, which will be about 7 or 8 miles an hour. That's kind of the sweet spot for getting good fuel mileage with this motor. So now I can see the island, Sentinel Island, and the wind is coming. It's actually turned even more towards the north. So it's still coming from a good direction to sail back. I'll be able to sail back and go right around the corner and up my little finger of water to the marina on the way back. So I have some little poops down here from an animal or a bird, but it looks more like what it looks like to me is it could be a rat. So my whole concept that I use at home mostly for these pots where I'm putting garden waste in here or food waste, like I put cucumbers in here the other day, and I think I'm going to stop doing that. Because if I'm attracting rats, well, then... And this is the first time it's happened. I've had my boat at this marina for probably 2 months, and I've never seen these little poops on the deck. Could be a bird. I don't really care if it's a bird, but if it's a rat, I don't want them finding a way inside the boat. I have a dog at home, another dog. It's more like my wife's dog, and it's a American Bulldog. And at the house that we lived at before the one we're at now, when we lived over in New Caney, Texas, north of Houston, I had some chickens and I had a garden, and there was other people around that had chickens too. My neighbor had a whole bunch of chickens and pigeons and stuff. And there were some rats around. But the American Bulldog is like a super good ratting dog. She would go out there and hunt for them. And when she would catch one, she would dispatch it in like 1, 2, 3 seconds maybe. She does the head whack, she puts it in her mouth and then slaps her head back and forth so that the rat hits the side of her face, breaks their back. And so she grabs a rat and goes whap 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 whap, and it's dead. And I saw her catch and kill in a relatively short time 9 rats. We don't have I'm surprised we don't have rats at our new house, because the neighbor next door has got chickens, and I have a composting system made from garbage cans, and I got like 5 or 6 of them, and I'm surprised we don't have rats, but if we did, our American Bulldog would take care of them. I've never seen any rats there, but... So, where's the island? Yeah, there it is. So I'm just about headed for it. It's called... Optima figured it out. It's called Sentinel Island. I'll bet you I could do a Grok search on the amenities that are on that island and why there's so many boats there. So my stream is pretty balanced today. A lot of times my head camera will, it did kick out earlier once, but sometimes it does it more often than that. The underwater LiveScope view, that has held now good since I rebooted the iPad. So I got to get in the habit of that, of rebooting that iPad before I start the stream. Oh, okay. Like the montage project, you mean? Human experiments? My wife did a ton of research on that about 10 years ago, on that montage project and all of the experiments they were doing there on kids and humans, and then the kids that came out of that. I think they call them the montage kids or something like that, which is all the kids that came out of there programmed to basically do whatever the CIA wanted them to do. It's amazing. It's just amazing how many conspiracy theories that have been, but I think it's amazing how many what used to be considered conspiracy theories have turned out to be true, or worse than we even thought. And it seems like there's going to be a lot of that kind of stuff breaking soon. I'm hoping we have a lot of politicians from both sides of the coin in handcuffs soon. Sometimes there's these big, well, fairly big, what look almost like rogue waves. There's one right over here right now, probably a good 3 feet tall, 3 feet high, maybe 4. One of them hit my boat here a couple days ago, and I didn't see it coming. I mean, they're not super big. It's not like it's going to roll you over or something, but So the water depth is starting to go down now. My hook's at 20 feet and the water depth's 28, so I'm 8 feet off the bottom. So I'll have to start bringing it up a little bit, just a couple feet. Now I'm at 18 feet. I don't like getting snags, especially when you're trolling like this, because if you don't notice it right away, it starts pulling line off of your reel. And so I've had one really successful snag and one disastrous snag. The disastrous one, I didn't notice it until it had pulled quite a bit of line off my reel. And I was trying to break the line and hoping it would break down by the hook so that I didn't leave a whole bunch of line in the water. But it broke up here by the reel, and then I did end up leaving a lot of line in the water, which is not good. So the next time it happened, I got a snag. I noticed it right away, and I put the trolling. I was using my big motor, so I shut the motor down. I put the trolling motor in the water, and I started turning the boat around so that I could go back towards my snag, because I was trying to avoid leaving a bunch of water. So as I was heading back towards where the snag was, I was reeling the pole in, and I actually got up to where the snag was, and now my battery went dead. I got up to where the snag was, and it actually came off. It must have been on a brick, on a cement block, or maybe an old road bridge or something non-wood. A bunch of caskets. Huh. Were these? No shit. What is it for, do you think? Yeah. Well, they keep talking about that there's 600,000 missing kids from all of them coming across the border, but they never find any. Yep, I agree. Wow, it's really getting wavy. I just changed the battery in that 360 camera. So now I'll raise it back up. So I have a 9-foot selfie stick that hides. You can't see the stick. There we go. Camera's back in action. Bunch of fish down by my hook right now. Here we go. Ooh, I got a bite or something. Or a snag. That's looking like a snag. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay, so now looks like I got a snag. So what I'm going to do is bring this line in. Okay, so that one's in. Now this one, so we're pretty close to the snag. Now I'm going to bring up my weight ball. Big waves. Okay, so now I'm going to try to turn the boat around and head back, see if I can get some of this line back. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to cut it. So let me get this ready. Ooh, don't want that. Now I got to keep it from getting in my trolling motor prop. Going the wrong way. There we go. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling the boat back towards my snag. Okay, so I'm pretty close to it, so when I cut my line, if I have to cut it, it won't be too much line out. Wouldn't it be something if I realized it was actually a fish under there? It is a fish. I think it might be. Boy, I don't think so. That thing is really tight. Okay, so what I'm going to do for a while is I'm going to anchor the boat. So I set the anchor, the GPS anchor, on the trolling motor, so we'll be in one location. Well, you know what's going to happen though? It's going to swing me. I'm going to be on the wrong side. Okay, so now bring this pole around. No, I won't be able to. No, I won't be able to. It's not a fish because he's not running with it. It felt like a fish for a second when I had the line tight, but see, he's not running with it. Yeah, that's a snag. So what I'm going to have to do is cut the line. Cut it as short as I can. All right, so what's this? Should have had that camera angle on while I was fighting with that. So I think for today what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this pole away. And then what I'm going to do so now I got the tip of the pole stuck inside of the grill. How about that? Okay, so we'll just put this pole away for now. And then like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to put the sail out. Or wait, yeah, we'll put the sail out first. There's Checker's water. This I don't need anymore. Okay, so to put the sail out, first thing we want to do is unhook this. This is a sheet for the jib sail. And we'll put that right back there. Now we're anchored in one spot. At least we should be. No, we're not. Okay, there. Yeah, so we were drifting a little bit, but so now I've got us anchored, and what that's going to do is it's going to turn the boat right into the wind. Let's get these lines untangled. This line is for the roller furler. This line is the other jib sheet. So I keep them locked like that so that the sheet so that the sail can't unravel on its own. So now I'll unlock the furler, and then I'll start pulling the sail out. And I think I'm going to go about 3/4 out for today. Wrap that around the winch, lock it, and then we'll lock this guy. And then we'll bring the sheet back to the cockpit. And then I got to change my cover a little bit so I got room. Oh shit. Okay. I hate it when I don't have my seam proper. Okay, so now we'll wrap this around there, and we'll pull that over, and then we'll wrap this sheet around this winch and hook it there. Now, what'll happen is when I unlock the GPS lock on the trolling motor, which is almost like having the anchor down, I'll unlock that, and then I'll crank the wheel over, and the wind should take us right around. Starting to go. So we were headed into the wind because when I put the anchor lock on the trolling motor, what it does is the wind turns the boat so that it's facing directly into the wind, which makes it kind of handy for putting the sails up and down. Now, it's turning me, but based on the wind direction, in order to head home, I'm going to have to tack and have the sail go the other way. Right now the wind is hitting the sail on the port side, but I'm going to want it hitting the starboard side here in a few minutes. So we're only going a 0.5 mile an hour, and that's because now we're just about straight downwind, and there's no wind in the sail at all. Now, it should turn, but if it doesn't, then I might have to use the trolling motor just to twist the front around a little bit. Okay, so now I'll pull the sail in, sheet in that side. I probably should have pulled the sail out all the way because there's not enough wind today to... We're picking up speed though. We're up to 0.8 now. Okay, now we're headed back to port, back to the Marina. This side I can put a little bit of slack in, and then I'll latch it like that. Yeah, I should have pulled it out all the way. In fact, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to latch this line right there. And I'm going to go pull the sail. Oh, I actually have to unlatch this side. Like that. And then I have to loosen up the and then pull it out the rest of the way. Can Now it's all out away, out all the way. Okay. All right. Okay. Cameras are okay. Not much wind. In fact, the wind just about died out. What's the matter, buddy? Is that bothering you? There, it's picking up now. It just picked up again. What's the matter, Checkers? You want to come over here? There you go. Hey, buddy. There's water up there for you. Okay, now I'm gonna drop this in the water. So I've never gotten a snag out in the middle of the lake like that. I think I was about 8 feet off the bottom. I usually try to stay 10. Luckily, all I had on it was well, I did have 2 hooks, but they were cheap ones. No lures. Just had a hook with a piece of bacon and another one with a hot dog for catfish. Okay. clear day today, a little bit of clouds. Wonder what the temperature is. You think with all these devices that I have, one of them would show a temperature. I should put a temperature widget in my stream. So my next phase of this thing is I got a laptop, an old laptop down in the cockpit, or not in the cockpit, but down in the boat. And right now that's what Restream is running on. My headset is connected to that computer so I can hear chat from that computer in my headset. And that computer, when I'm streaming iRacing, that computer can't handle it. I don't know if it's the CPU, the graphics card, or the RAM, but it can't keep up. So I've been thinking about getting a new one, and I've been thinking about getting a mini PC. I was looking at mini PCs like 15 years ago. In fact, I had a PC, a handheld PC that was about 3 inches wide and about the size of a big phone. And it was a full-blown PC with a keyboard on it and everything. It wasn't very good, but I was thinking handheld, full-blown PC back 15, almost maybe 20 years ago. In fact, I was even starting to design one. And then the guy that made this little PC, it didn't last long. He went out of business, or he didn't go out of business. They just quit making them. It was that Paul guy that was partners with Microsoft. Paul something. He designed this little handheld PC. Well, now, just in the last few years, these little mini PCs are coming out all over the place. And, they're pretty decent. And what I was thinking of doing is getting 2 of them, but not, 2 cheaper ones. Like that laptop I got down there, my wife bought it for me. I'll bet that laptop was $2,000. It's a 17-inch HP gaming computer. What's it called? Opus or something like that? Not Opus. Anyway, at the time it was a really expensive, really good gaming laptop, but it just can't keep up with both streaming and gaming. One of my cameras is about to die. Low battery, so the one on my head is about to die. So I'm going to change the battery in that and reconnect. So anyway, I was thinking of getting 2 of the mini PCs, fairly cheap ones. One to run the stream, and I'd keep it in this box. And then the other one to run iRacing. And I would keep that one downstairs. You know how some people, when they stream, they use 2 PCs? So that's what I was thinking of doing. Okay, so that battery's in charging. And this one is going back in the camera. Let's start it back up. So we're going almost a mile an hour now, so that's pretty damn slow when it comes to sailing. But that's just about the right speed for trolling, and I do have one line out, so. Okay. Well, that's because You could be right that it's wrong, but that could be because I have a fan page and I have my normal Facebook page. Click the link once and see what it brings to you, what it brings you to. Okay, that's back on. Does it work? Do the links work? Boy, I sure do appreciate you being on here today. Because does it tell? Okay, I'll fix that. Do you know which one it is that doesn't work, or is it both of them? So, I'll fix that. So I started using computers in the 70s, and then in the 80s, what did I get? I think I got what was called a compact. So none of them work then? Is that what you're saying, Optima? Thanks for checking that for me. Okay. Thank you. Huh. Okay. What does dubbed mean, though? I don't know what that means. Oh, doubled. That must be what you're saying, doubled. So I'm headed right for my Marina now. I've got a ways to go, but I am in no hurry. Okay, thank you. Wonder how that happened. So my stream is leaving this live view down here and then going out through the cellular modems and the satellite dish. And then it's going to the Restream server. And then Restream is distributing it out to Kick, YouTube, and not Facebook, but Twitch. So it could be that I have the links in Restream, which I think I do, and then I also have them on the Kick, Twitch, and YouTube pages. So that might be why they're doubling up. But plus, some of them aren't even working, so I'll have to figure all of that out. That'll be my project for tonight. I'm a huge motocross racing fan. I used to race when I was, I started racing when I got married when I was 17. I got married when I was 17, and I started racing probably shortly after must have been the next spring. So I bet you I started when I was 17 and a half. And then I raced for about 2 years, motocross. But I like watching the pro AMA motocross races that are on Peacock on Saturdays. So the qualifying starts at 12 today, and then the race is at 3, I think. Oh, okay. They might, okay. So don't put links to Kick on Twitch. Okay, thanks. Because they'll boot me, right? There's a boat that is a party boat, and it's set up like a big pirate ship, and it usually, yeah. Yeah, the wind was supposed to be about 6 knots with gusts up to 10 today. But actually, it might be just a little bit too early for that.